There was a further ratcheting up of cost of living pressures when the RBA delivered the Cup Day rate rise this week. The cash rate now 4.35%, its highest level in 12 years. Joining me now is Pradeep Philip, his lead partner for Deloitte Access Economics and a regular on this program. You have said that the RBA has backed the wrong horse in Cup Week with this rate rise. Why?
So this is the rate rise the economy didn't need. And there are a couple of reasons for that. We're already seeing the Australian economy slow. We know that the retail sector is growing at the slowest rate since just before Australia won the America's Cup. We know that confidence is waning. We know that infrastructure needs to be higher than where it is now. And we also know that the last few rate rises that are already in the system are still working their way through. So they're still to take full effect. And finally, Kieran, we also see that the things that are driving inflation at the moment are not the things that interest rates can really solve for. So will interest rates solve for higher housing rents? No. Will it solve for the higher petrol price? No. Will it solve for the insurance spike that's gone on that's feeding inflation? No. And we also can see that the Reserve Bank hasn't changed its view about interest rates having peaked, inflation having peaked and coming down towards the end of 2025. So the Reserve Bank still holds to that view that inflation will come down then over that time period.
So do you think inflation is going to come back anyway? Is that your view in 2024?
Look, inflation will start to come down over the next 18 months. The Reserve Bank agrees with that. They believe it'll come down to their 2 to 3% band by the end of 2025.
Because there are some economists saying that if they don't move now, we could face the nightmare scenario of the economy picking up and prices picking up in the new year, and they've got to go not once or twice, but 4 or 5 times.
Look, it depends what's driving these price increases. Now, we happen to think there are some structural things that we need to do. We need more competition to ensure that in key sectors of the economy, prices and businesses are operating as efficiently as possible and consumers are getting the best deal. We think that productivity will help how this economy operates, and for that we need higher investment. And what putting up interest rates now does, it just makes the cost of capital just that much more expensive.
You've seen the OECD numbers that have the largest fall of any developed country, largest fall in living standards over the last year. Is it all about the inflation rates issue, or are there more factors at play?
There are a few factors at play here. Australian workers have had low to negative real wage increases for a while. We know that households are vulnerable to variable interest rates. We know they're affected by inflation. So there are a number of factors that have meant that if households feel they're struggling, it's because the numbers tell us that they are. They're fragile and they're vulnerable. Again, another reason why we think this rate rise was probably not necessary at this point.
So do you think we'll see rate cuts next year?
Look, I think it's a bit too early to speculate on when that'll happen. But what we do know is that if we don't fix the structural things in the economy, Kieran, then inflation will be higher for longer. In fact, we think over the next few years, there are things happening that will make prices more volatile in the economy. So we could get lower inflation, but more volatile inflation when you think about the transitions that are taking place in the economy.
There are a lot of transitions happening, and the government's announced this new framework for corporations to declare what they're doing on emissions reduction. Do you like what you see, or is it too cumbersome, what the government's suggesting?
The government's put out a consultation paper because they're trying to design a new system, because we're creating new markets here. And what business needs is to make sure that this system is efficient, that they can measure things, that's going to be useful, and it's at least cost. The danger is that we create too much red tape, but it's a good idea to do.
Pradeep Philip, lead partner at Deloitte Access Economics. Great to see you.
Good to be with you.